Today I'm going to talk about low self-esteem and how it stops people from taking action on the big things in life. Now, you can know something inside and out. You could have read all about relationships, or maybe you know everything about starting a business, or maybe you know everything about video games, or you know everything about fitness and diet. And you are scared to follow through on this information. For example, the person who studies everything about a certain kind of diet, but they're still eating junk food. Or the person who knows all the relationship books and they've read everything at the bookstore, and yet they're trapped in an abusive marriage. Or maybe it's that person who continually works their ass off at work, but they're not being paid very well and they don't have the courage to ask for a promotion. These things are all caused by low self-esteem. And it's also a problem when we're learning something new that sometimes we don't follow through on the new things we've learned because we're too scared that if we actually put ourselves out there and follow the information that we've learned with action, that we're going to be rejected in some way. It reminds me of something I learned about in New Zealand called tall poppy syndrome, which is also popular in the UK. If you stand out too much, then somebody's going to chop you down. However, if we know something and we don't follow through on that, we're also suffering from low self-esteem. And if you're going to spend a lot of time or money on courses or reading books, if you can't follow through on the information you've read, you might as well have never read the book or never studied the course or spent the money. That's how serious low self-esteem can limit your life. It's very, very destructive. We can spend so much time going to university and going to get a PhD, but if you don't believe in yourself that you can actually implement that knowledge in some way or contribute to society, then you're going to fail when you go out into the world, even when you have a PhD. And many, many people do actually, because they're hoping to get some sort of job, but they're not self-confident enough to ask for the job. And then they go out in the world and then they have to find other jobs, but people don't want to hire them because they're overqualified. And it's actually the same way with reading books or taking online courses. When we don't implement what we've learned, we've basically wasted our time. So how do you build your own self-esteem enough that you can take action on what you've learned? Well, there are some very important basics to start with. Let's say, for example, you're the type of person who, when you were young in high school, you had a boyfriend and then you chose to get married not with that person not long after you finished high school or university, and your whole life is set up with that other person. There's nothing wrong with that, but it can also be a sign potentially of low self-esteem because you didn't have really the confidence to break up with them when they were presenting some negative behaviors and look for another partner. You thought you have to settle for this partner. However, you don't want to judge people because sometimes maybe they really are a good partner and they lucked out the first time. However, I find that situation is pretty rare in this day and age. And when you marry at a young age, you're potentially locking yourself into a pretty debilitating lifestyle, especially if you choose to stay at home with the children and you don't have a job and you continue that pattern. It's okay when the child is like small and you really need that extra time to take care of them. But if it continues on for too long and you don't get another job or another business or form of employment, it's not good for your self-esteem. So wherever you're at in life, if you want to boost your self-esteem, probably the first thing you need to do is get a job. I know that sounds so basic, but a lot of people out there will have low self-esteem and they don't work. So that's probably the number one thing, is to get a job in anything. Even if it's a crappy job, if it's a part-time job, just start somewhere and start building up your resume and start working for somebody else and be of service, because then you're going to improve your self-esteem. And if you're busy around the household and you're using that as an excuse to not get a job, you've got to find some way to delegate that or cut down your chores so that you're able to work a job. Because self-sufficiency is more important than being a domestic goddess. There's nothing wrong with being a domestic goddess, like when you have time, but having said that, if you're putting too much of your life into those things and you're not actually going towards your dreams and your ambitions in life, it will hold you back and it will foster low self-esteem. Now, there are those people who are in jobs And maybe it's the first job they stuck with when they got out of high school or university, but they continually work very hard at their jobs and they never ask for a promotion. So you have to decide if you're worthy of a promotion in this particular field of study, because sometimes maybe you don't have the right skill set. Maybe that's the reason why you're not worthy of a promotion, and there's actually a practical reason behind it. So you either have to go and get the skills in order to be promoted, or if you're just in a job but you're not really good at it, you should start looking for another job that really matches who you are as a person and your true skills and level of ambition. Otherwise, you're just going to be trapped in a negative cycle and constantly working your butt off for somebody who maybe undervalues you or doesn't appreciate you, and that doesn't feel very good. My next piece of advice is when you're in relationships, you should only accept the best behavior from a potential partner. If they're starting to nag you or say negative things or even worse, belittle you, it's time to get rid of that partner. And you should never put yourself in a situation where you're dependent on a partner, because when you set yourself up for that by quitting your job, or you're dependent on them for some other thing like getting a house or getting, children, you're putting too much power into their hands. You need to be able to take care of your priorities in your life independently, and you can't be depending on somebody else to make them happen. And then my next bit of advice to overcome low self-esteem is self-love. And this is probably the most important tip of all, and maybe the one you want to start with, although the others are very practical and good pieces of advice. You have to love yourself in order to make progression in your life and in order to create your dream life. So how do you love yourself? Well, first of all, you have to recognize where the negativity is in your life, and you have to find a way to cut down on the negativity. If you're complaining about your job, for example, you need to do something practical about it. You either need to change it, if you need to change it, or you need to look at it in a different way. And this is where gratitude comes in. Being grateful for everything you have, especially if you were brought up in a developed country, if your parents helped you get education of some kind, if you have clean water to drink all the time, if you've never had to worry about where your next meal is coming from, if you've always had a roof over your head, then these are things to be grateful for. And you should always count your blessings, because what will happen is you'll start seeing things in a more positive light and you'll start being more generous towards the rest of the world. But it's also important to do things to take good care of yourself. You need to eat right. You need to exercise. You need to take time for quiet. And I don't mean watching TV, although sometimes, once in a while, there's nothing wrong with watching a positive, uplifting movie. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you don't want to be in a habit of watching TV all the time. That's not good for you. You want to take times to relax and have a bubble bath once in a while. You want to make sure you're getting enough sleep. You want to make sure you have friends and family around you who really lift up your life. If you don't have good people around you, then it's time to let them go, because those people can really lower the quality of your life. You may also want to consider having a pet if you can afford it, because pets give you a lot of unconditional love and joy in your life, and they can be great anchors that remind you of your values. For example, my cat reminds me of my sense of intuition, because I see her behaving intuitively, and it reminds me to do the same in a lot of ways. Maybe not exactly the way a cat behaves, but something like that, right? Then you may also want to have beautiful plants that give you greenery in your space and oxygen, and you may want to take good care of them. Because when you take care of other things and you contribute to people or to animals or plants outside yourself, that builds your sense of generosity towards the world. That helps you develop your sense of empathy for others. And those are also forms of self-love. You might think, oh, well, that's a form of loving another, and it is. They're both kind of the same. You want to make sure you have a balance where you're not over giving to other people. You want to make sure you're giving to yourself first, and you're creating pockets of quiet and fun time for yourself. Having said that, Giving to others and contributing to others can add a whole level of joy and meaning to your life that you've never experienced before. So it's good to have both. You want to be loving to others and you want to be loving towards yourself. I hope these tips on how to boost your self-esteem are very helpful. They will also help you with practical matters in life. Like if you're looking for a partner and you haven't found one yet, boosting your self-love and your self-esteem will help you attract a partner more easily, automatically, even before trying any techniques or advice on how to find a relationship. When you're in a better space and you're in better energy, you're more likely to find a partner who wants to join you in the fun of your life. I hope you all enjoyed these tips I had about self-esteem today. If you have any comments or things that you like to do to boost your self-esteem, definitely leave them below. And if you'd like to follow me for more tips on building your ultimate life on social media, definitely check out my Instagram at Leah H. Chantel. I also have a LinkedIn page. You can look me up as Leah Chantel on LinkedIn. And I also have a TikTok account where you can follow my video shorts and get even more advice to build your ultimate life. I hope you're all having an amazing day. I'm so grateful for all of you viewers who support me because you are all people who give to others in your life and you're the type who are generous and loving. And those are the kinds of people that I want to support through my channel. So thank you so much for coming and I hope you're all having a great week. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to see more video tips from me. And don't forget to like my videos if you enjoyed this video. Take care and have a great week. Bye now.